I want to call the January 22nd, 2015 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting to order. Before we start, and Commissioner Koger is going to give the prayer and the pledge, but I want to offer our sympathies to the Ford family. For those that don't know, Senator Wendell Ford passed away today. He sent forward in his service to our nation and to our state and to our community. Not only brought honor to himself and to his family, but brought much honor to this community. And we want to remember them in our prayers, which Commissioner Koger does. So, Commissioner, will you lead us in a prayer?
Just for a moment, I'd like for everyone to bow their head and pause for just a moment for Senator Ford's family. Lord, we pray for the Senator Wendell H. Ford family. Senator Ford passed away this morning. Please make their family strong this difficult time. Pray for everyone here tonight, keeping us strong and healthy. We pray for our women and men who are serving in the armed forces, that they will come home safely. Continue your help for the homeless, that they will always have food and shelter and someday have a place to live. We pray for the sick in the hospital and nursing home to gain their strength back while enjoying life again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Once again, I want to welcome everyone to our January 22nd, 2015 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. As I look out on this packed courtroom tonight, it just reminds me that while Christmas is over, Santa Claus is coming tonight for those people who worked Christmas at Panther Creek. So welcome to you folks, and real quickly, thank you for helping us put that program on up there. Jenny, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Item 1, consideration for presentation at Treasurer's Report for December 2014.
Mr. Hendricks.
Yes, Judge. Halfway through the fiscal year at the end of December, total cash balance $25,750,193. The general funds $9,334,421. To date, revenues and expenses are all within acceptable range where we would anticipate them to be at this point. All funds are performing as we had budgeted, so I have nothing other to report to the court.
Commissioner, you've heard the report. Any questions or comments at this time? This is reports. We don't need a motion or a second. Next item, Jenny.
B, 2014 Christmas Panther Creek fundraising checks.
Mr. Lee.
Judge, it's been a banner year for Christmas at Panther Creek. I'm very proud of the work that was accomplished by our 5 agencies that applied for the opportunity to be able to collect the funds during the course of time between Thanksgiving and January 1st. At this time, I would like to be able to invite up those individuals to be able to receive their checks. Essentially, these checks are $970 apiece, and they reflect the portion that's equal amongst all 5 agencies. At this time, from King Avid Baptist Church, Fred Chisholm. From Zion United Church of Christ, Reverend Larry Glory Schroeder. From Dream Riders of Kentucky, Miss Barbara Quenter. And from the Joe Ford Nature Center, Miss Grace Ford.
I thought I saw her sneak in right there.
Judge, we have one agency that wasn't able to be represented tonight, and that's the Kentucky State Police Professional Association.
That money goes into the Judge's Benevolent Fund, right?
It might. Blake Smith will come by the office tomorrow. He'd like to be able to get a picture of a presentation to be able to put that in the statewide publication. Okay. We did have a great year at Christmas at Panther Creek, and talking about new and innovative ways to be able to promote that program next year. I'm looking for a reindeer.
Do you, can you give us just real quickly a few statistics?
We were up this year 19% over last year. There were a couple of days last year that we were closed because of snow. Inevitably, it happens. This year, Mother Nature cooperated. We were quite pleased to be able to maintain an open schedule. Over the course of the last 12 years, we've been able to provide back to the community, as these 5 agencies did tonight, in excess of $35,000-$40,000, and it's an easy thing for us to be able to give back to the community. Plus, also be able to retain those funds to help offset, the process of producing this program. Our staff typically in October will start stringing lights, and you go out to the park tomorrow and find that they're still taking them down. It takes quite a bit of time.
Well, I want to take this opportunity, number one, to thank those folks that just received their payoff, but also the park staff and the other county employees that helped do this, and as well as the IBEW and their volunteers who helped rewire the park, and we were able to put more lights up and make it bigger and better. Commissioners, any question or comment?
Great job.
Thank you.
Ross, you might ask if anyone out there would like to say a word about the program.
I knew you would.
My
name is Barbara Pointer, and I'm with Dreamriders. We've had one heck of a year, and the impact of this is great for us. This helps us with our feed for horses. This helps us directly with those children that are coming to see us. This is huge to us. $970 for going out and spreading Christmas cheer is a pretty amazing thing for us to be able to do. Knowing that we're doing that in partnership with four other agencies and the park department, feeling we're all sharing the burden and doing it well, and that's exciting to us. As well as working with Parks Department, they were fantastic, keeping us informed on what was going on, having a staff member out there the entire time, checking on us, making sure we were okay. They even kept us warm in that wonderful little hot box that they had for us, because some of those nights were pretty cold, and they provided shelter for us. So it was a really wonderful experience, and we're looking forward to doing it not next year, but the year after, hopefully, if the name is on.
Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate you acknowledging the staff, and we could tell Ross spoke that last part that you said.
There you go.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Come forward.
On behalf of all volunteers I had this year to help us to do the week's work, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to do it. Now that all the free services are beginning to diminish with Joe's departure, and of course I'm looking forward to being able to go over some things a little along the way, although I'm hanging right now for several more years. But anyway, our expenses are increasing because we're having to pay people to do what we're doing for the center, and every dollar that we earn is a blessing. And this means so much to us, and I was pleased with the feedback I got from our volunteers. They said, we had a good time doing that.
Right.
And so we really appreciate you all providing the opportunity. It's a wonderful thing for you to do for us.
Well, thank you very much. We all miss Joe, and we appreciate the fact that you have carried on the work that he started.
We intend to.
Yep, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Judge Commissioners, Reverend Lord Keller Schrader from Zion United Church of Christ. Very nice to see all of you this evening. I would like to introduce one person in particular. We brought along our treasurer, Ray Whitty, who's here. But we also brought along the impetus behind the project that our money will go toward, and that is Mr. William Keller. Would you stand, please? William is my son, so I'll try not to wax poetically. But he is also working on his Eagle Scout project, and a part of that Eagle Scout project, or the whole thing really, is to design, and then literally plant into the ground a brand new sign for the southeast corner of Zion UC's property. And so William has been working very, very hard on that, and it is his pleasure as well to be here, to be invited. And this check, my goodness, it finishes essentially the work that Will has started over 2 years ago. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. Will, when you complete your Eagle badge requirements, if you will invite fiscal court, I assure you the judge and probably a few commissioners will show up at that ceremony. Okay? Thank you.
Judge, we do.
Ross, there's one more back there. I think you can give him a check.
I didn't think about it. I was just waiting. This has got to be said. The staff out there was great, more than they could ever be. I mean, they were awesome as far as helping us out, polite, friendly. Them, I don't think you all see the whole impact, because the 1 week we were there, I got to see a guy propose to his new wife, and she said yes. So that's pretty cool. And then we got to see a guy from Rock come in that hasn't seen his family in 14 months, and that's where we met him at. And it was pretty awesome, because the kids haven't seen their dad in 14 months. You know? Pretty cool. So if you didn't get a chance to witness that, you missed out on something really good, because we should do everything we should do to support our military, and this was a big impact on them. So I think y'all should know that.
Thank you. I hope that wedding turns out all right, or they'll be back complaining to us about that proposal taking place on park property. Anything else?
Judge, we would invite anyone interested, Daviess County, that nonprofit, to that contact me. Put them on the list. September, we'll send out our application. Never seems like we have enough, and basically the 5 agencies are drawn by our park board in October. So again, anybody who would like the opportunity to get on the list now, please just let me know. I'll put you there, and we'll get you an application.
Can't do it 2 years in a row.
Cannot do it 2 years in a row.
Right.
These 5 will need to skip a year before they're eligible again.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ross. Commissioners, again, any comment about you guys? Okay, next item, Jenny.
Item 2, consideration for approval of minutes of the January 8, 2015 court meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Have a motion and second. Commissioners, you had a copy of the minutes in your packet for some time. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and second. Again, Commissioners, you had a copy of all the bills due and payable by Daviess County Fiscal Court in your packet for some time. Do you have any questions for the treasurer? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
C, MOA with Specialty Food Groups Incorporated and authorization for Judge Mattingly to execute said agreement.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. David, are you gonna do this for us?
Yes, but I do think we need to see if Mr. Bloom is here from Bill Packing Company, if you would like him to, again, talk about the project. But I will go over the MOA. As you know, our previous meeting in December, the Economic Development Advisory Group had recommended that the court provide special food groups with $260,000 for the creation of 65 full-time jobs and the investment of, I believe it was $3 million, them to do some work to expand their meat processing facilities. So the county attorney got together and sent a draft memorandum to SFE, and they returned with just some very minor changes as far as dates were concerned, so that they would match up with the same dates that the requirements are of the state program. So that way they don't have to keep filling out different paperwork different times. Right. They can just fill out paperwork for the state, and that will, when you give that Patty, that will suffice for us as well. So either if as I said, Mr. Bloom is here, if you all want to ask him some questions about the project or details as your call, he addressed you all in December.
Mr. Bloom, if you don't mind, would you just step to the podium and just briefly tell us what you're going to be doing there?
Good evening, and again, it's an honor to be here. We at Special Food Group will be expanding the field packing location to increase production capacity up about 40%. With that investment of what David has mentioned of approximately $3 million, we will be adding with that anywhere from 60 to most likely 65 positions, anywhere from general labor up through and including mechanics. With that, this capacity is greatly needed for our facility.
Okay, commissioners, any questions or comment? Yes, sir.
When are you going to actually start hiring people?
A good question. I'll actually, we get the privilege of having Steve Conrad with me. He's the Vice President of Operations. But I'll let him maybe talk to that.
We'll start hiring some of these people. I mean, we've already started this process as far as doing some interviews and bringing people in and doing some research on mechanics and the kind of positions that we're going to need. We won't fully start probably for another 30 days in preparation for some of the positions to prepare the people for some initial training. We won't fully hire the 65 employees until the equipment is all in. That's going to be sometime this summer. But even after the installation, there's going to be a period before sales demand actually sells enough to fully utilize all the equipment, and the expansion then will be full completed. So it's going to be phased in. But we're actually starting the process right now, reviewing employees and doing the staffing, and we're going to begin hiring some real soon. Like I said, the 65, there's going to be like delay. The equipment's going to come in, as Bob stated, will give us approximately 40% capacity on a ham manufacturing facility. That's over and above what we're doing now, but it's not like our sales department's going to go out there and sell 40% more ham in June and going forward, so they got to ramp that up and find new customers and those kind of things. This is kind of inhibited us for growing plant. We're kind of peak out at certain times of the year, so this now allows us to go out after this expansion is done and see more business to actually to grow the plant. So it's going to be a kind of protracted period, probably a good year before we fully get that in place.
Okay. Commissioners, any other question or comment? Yes, sir.
Still on those, excuse me, on the hourly range that you're bringing these people in, and I know some be sealed and some won't, but is that a range approximately around $13, $14 an hour? Could be as high as maybe
if you full fringe them with all the fringes, which is important to me, I got to pay for that. That'll be over $20 an hour fully fringed.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner? I do want to make a comment. If I'm not mistaken, you guys moved about 10 people here for the headquarters.
Correct.
You moved your headquarters here about 10 people as well, which thank you for that. I really want to thank you for your faith in the community and your decision to invest in the community. Public, anybody in the public have any comment? Okay, thanks.
Take us at the plant, we'll have well in excess of 500 people once it's completed in the factory. And so you take the management, some of the sales force, you're looking at probably close to 550 people when this thing is completed. So it's pretty large workforce.
That is. Thank you. If there are no other questions by the commission or by the public, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't feel like you have to stay for the rest of the meeting. You just got to check.
D, lease agreement with Pleasant Grove Baptist Church and the West Louisville Playground Association for a summer recreation program, and authorization for the judge executive to execute said agreement.
Move to approve.
I have a motion second, Mr. Lee.
Judge, I bring to you a recommendation for a lease agreement between March 15th and July 15th at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church for the use by West Louisville Playground Association. This includes 2 hall islands, the concession stands, their press boxes, restrooms, their playground equipment, as well as the parking lot. Lease on this property will be rent-free, but utilities that are incurred by the church will be the responsibility of the volunteers of the West Louisville Playground Association Board. This is similar to last year's agreement, with one exception that there's now 2 ball diamonds as opposed to just 1.
Okay. Pretty standard agreement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question or comment by the commission?
I have one
Yes.
comment. I noticed in here that we have a 9:30 curfew for the lights to go off. Is that a common practice in all our
It
parks?
is during the school night. When it's not a school night, on Friday or a Saturday or after school's out in May, then it's 10:30.
Okay,
But that
so
is a
it's-
common practice across the board for us.
Any other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
E, award the following bids. Bid number 4, 2015, one new tandem dump truck. Bid 5, 2015, one new full-size pickup truck.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, bid number 4, 2015 concerns new tandem dump truck for the road department. This was planned and budget replacement vehicle. Daviess County Fiscal Court received 3 bids with bid of Sternberg International as lowest and best evaluated, meeting all bid specifications without exception. We recommend to award Sternberg International in the amount of $107,989.
Next one. We're going to do both at the same time, so let's talk about the pickup truck.
Bid number 5, 2015 concerns new full-size pickup truck for animal control. Daviess County Fiscal Court received 3 bids with the bid of BF Evans Ford as the lowest and best evaluated, meeting all bid specifications with minor exceptions. The minor exceptions included an extended delivery date and larger wheelbase. We recommend award to BF Evans Ford in the amount of $23,599.
And that's with the bid, right?
That is.
Commissioners, any questions? Any other question or comment? Did any of these come off the state bid list? Or are these just
Yes, the full-size pickup truck,
full-size pickup came
Mhm.
with the state bid list?
2015 Ford F-150.
Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
F, advertise for bid number 8, 2015, boardwalk materials for Fork Creek Park.
Move to approve. Second.
Commissioners, this is for advertising only. Ross, you want to tell us about what we're doing there?
Judge, we received a grant, Recreation Trails Program grant, in the amount of $186,000. That's a 50-50 grant. We spent $186,000 and we received half of that back from the state. This request to advertise is the bulk of the materials required to build an elevated trail approximately 1,000 feet long through the woods behind the lake at Fork Creek Park.
It's kind of through the marshy area
Yes,
so
yes.
that you can walk through it all season.
Yes.
Question or comment by the commission? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
G, advertise for seasonal employees for Department of Park and Recreation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Again, commissioners, this is just to advertise. Ross?
Judge, we typically request this time of the year for the court to approve the opportunity to advertise for our seasonal employees. Those employees, we hire typically 6 park attendants at $10 an hour and 12 ground maintenance employees at $8.50 an hour. We should bring to you at the second court meeting in February permission to hire.
Keep talking, Ross.
Certain, Judge. These employees are spread throughout the course of our parks. We do have 3 park attendants at Panther Creek and 3 park attendants over at Yellow Creek Park. The 12 ground maintenance employees, typically 5 at Panther Creek, 5 at Yellow Creek, and 2 at Horse Fork Creek.
That's enough, Ross. Thank you.
Anytime, Judge.
Question or comment by the commission? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ross.
H, all previously approved positions in the following effective January 1, 2015, Daviess County Detention Center, Sheriff's Office, Clerk's Office, Coroner's Office, Attorney's Office, and Daviess County Fiscal Court.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Before I ask Claude why we're doing this, I just want to make a comment. You know, when I want Ross to shut up, he won't, and when I want him to keep talking, I have to encourage him to do that. Claude, tell us why we do this every 4 years.
The statutes just require that fiscal court hire its employees every time that there's a new fiscal court. There's a new fiscal court, so we just need to rehire all those who are employees now. My employees, or a couple of them, have to be recertified and approved. We've been through all of that
Right.
before too. So that's all this is.
Okay. I think sometimes when people see that, they get a little nervous.
Right.
Yeah, particularly you, Ross. Commissioners, any question or comment? Does that include the engineer?
No, he's under contract, Judge.
How about the treasurer?
He's under contract as well.
Don't it. All right. If there be no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 3, consideration for appointment A, Paula Crabtree to the West Daviess County Water District Board, term 1/17/15 to 1/17/19.
Motion approved.
I have a motion second. Ms. Crabtree has served 1 term for us, and we appreciate the service that she's given this community, this county, and I know that she'll do a good job going forward. Any question or comment? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
B, Commissioner Mike Koger to the Daviess County Fiscal Court Employee Council, term 1/1/15 to 1/1/19.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Commissioners, Commissioner Lambert served in this capacity for many years. The other day when Marcia said we have an employee council meeting Friday, which is tomorrow at noon, who's going to represent fiscal court, and I said, Commissioner Koger, aren't you?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah. And Commissioner Koger graciously agreed to do that. I really want to thank him. I know he'll do a good job. One of the reasons I asked Commissioner Koger to do this is that in his private business he is involved with many different employees, and he hears their concerns all the time. I think he will do a good job doing it, and I assume that you will not vote on
No, sir.
this. Okay. Commissioners, any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
For ordinances, A, first reading of KOC 860.7, 2015, and ordinance approving a revised emergency medical service and ambulance agreement by and between the City of Owensboro, Daviess County, and Procurement doing business as Yellow Ambulance Service, the exclusive countywide provider of emergency ambulance services for the 911 dispatch system.
Commissioners, this is first reading of ordinance. We don't need a motion or a second. Before we go, folks, anyone that is here and doesn't want to sit through the next part of this, you're welcome to leave now. If you don't, then the deputy will lock the door and you'll be able to get out till this is over. But you're welcome to stay. I just want to give you warning, this will take a while. Commissioners, tonight we have County Attorney Bob Porter set in on this committee as a renegotiated rework contract. And so I'm going to ask Paul to kind of work us through generally and what was done. I think he has given you a revised set contract with some yellowing, which would indicate changes that were made in the contract. We also have some people from Yell Ambulance out here in case we had any questions of them as well. So
If they have any comments, when I make
yes,
any
absolutely.
suggestions,
When we
you were-
yeah, this folks is interactive. We want to know. It's not just that we're going to give you a contract and lay it there and say you take it or leave it. We want to know how you felt about it, if you were okay with it, if you understand what I'm saying. So, Claude?
Judge, Commissioners, I gave you my copy of the, I don't know if it's the final draft, but I know it's not the final draft. It's the final draft with the yellow in it, with my notes on it. It changed the last couple times. There's been one other change, and I know about that I got this afternoon to paragraph 2, and that was to address the concerns that we had concerning the certificate of need that Chief Smithers mentioned and we'd sent out. So I will go through these as quickly as possible, and the first thing that we really did was changed it from time period now. The contract ends in February. We've changed that now so it ends at our regular, both the city and the county's fiscal year on June 30. So the first thing we'll do is extend the first one, and then the next time the 1 year will be up would be in June 30th of 2016. Of course, change the name. Yellow is now Procurement. The other, I guess, major changes, one thing we added on page 3, if you'll notice, it has communications interoperability. Actually, that's been moved to separate line items, supposed to be in part section 1D. It's to know that now that the ambulance service will try to connect and do as much as possible to deal with the 911 dispatch center and share the information that they have. I guess the next part that we really have would be in section 2, and that's the one where the new change was made. You'll notice at the end of section A of section 2, section 2 is the scope of services that contract.
What page you on, Bob?
Page 6.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Page 6, one of the things we outlined and asking the city, county, both all of the first responders, the question was, what happens in a situation where there was a disaster, there's a service failure, or any other kind of problem? It would allow the city and county to contract, and we have contracted for backup ambulance services. We've also added a paragraph, and this is where Chief Smithers' concern was, and we own, the county, and partly with the city as well, own a certificate of need that allows us to provide certain ambulance services. This would allow, if needed, to provide transport services if that becomes possible and if that's permitted through the state emergency management system. We do have a backup system in case that's necessary in an incident. When we're talking about an incident surge, there's a major disaster or large scale accident that would prevent Procurement or Yellow from having all of their ambulances serve another smaller accident or accident somewhere else. And this may allow us, does allow us to hire or bring in someone from another place to do that.
Commissioners, as we go through this, just occurred it might be better if we reach sections. If you had a question, if you want to stop and ask that question, because I have a question regarding this. You know, and Chief, first of all, you don't have just kind of yes or no. The section that Claude referenced, the change, I assume that you guys have seen this change?
I don't know that, I'm not, I just got it this after, actually, I think this morning, I just was able to.
We don't know whether they're okay with that or
I
not.
don't know whether the state emergency people are either or not either.
Okay.
I've sent them an email and
Okay.
talked to them, or called them and left messages and.
And basically, what this is,
Yeah.
yeah, please get them a copy. What this is city and county share a license.
Certificate of need.
Certificate of need.
Right.
Right now, CareNet or ProCare, Yellow, and I can still call you Yellow. Yellow, and we're gonna do that because he used Yellow on his thing here. Yellow is operating under our certificate of need.
Yes. No, they have their own certificate of need.
So they are operating under their own certificate of need. Where is ours?
Ours is they're using it for the emergency, but they have their own certificate of need. They operate for their non-emergency.
Oh, okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to get down to. So you guys are, you guys, let's not carry on that conversation. Let's carry it on here. You guys, Yellow, are actually operating under two certificates of need. One, the city and the county for emergency service, and your own for transport service. Is that correct? Okay. Well, and I understand. I'm sorry, would you go tell our guy back there he's gonna take his headphones off and throw them at us?
Yeah, that's my understanding, but I would like to double check from our legal standpoint to make sure that's exactly the correct way that we're saying it.
And the reason, Claude, I'm assuming, you might stay there, the reason I'm assuming that this change is being proposed, that they would operate the service we're contracting with on their own certificate of need, freeing up the city and counties for us to use?
No, this would only apply in an incident or a time when they are not able to respond to an emergency situation because let's suppose an airplane crashed at the airport and they have to have 10 ambulances out there. They don't have enough ambulances to serve that need. And if there's an accident occurred at the same time and need to do it, we need to have a way so that we could have contract with ambulances to serve the air crash and the one in Kerrsville. That's
But
what
my understanding is that, my understanding right now, and I may understand it wrong because I'm not first of all, would you identify yourself? The guy back there driving us nuts.
Yeah, Steve Austin, the president of ProCare.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah.
Thank you. There, did you get that, Jenny?
Did.
Or were you the one that was driving me nuts to get a name for the minutes? I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's my understanding that we already have the ability, if there is a disaster, if there is an issue where we don't have enough ambulances in Daviess County, that we can call on other people from mutual aid, bring them in.
We have those. ProCare also has a contract to do that as well.
Okay. And I also understand that we can have our own non-transport people at that time, transport people.
That's the question that we're trying to address here with the second part is whether we can transport. We don't have that capability to transport. And the question is, are we going to be?
My understanding, Chief, you want to get up there or do you want Sean to be up there? I can understand you better than I understand Sean. Sean, you're always going to, for the next 4 years at least, you're going to have that. You're ready for it.
During a declared disaster,
State of emergency, Judge declared state of emergency, there's been an earthquake.
a non-transport agency can transport.
Okay.
Under a busy time,
Yes.
Cannot.
Cannot.
they cannot without a license.
Okay. Tell me why the county, or for that matter, the city, would want to equip one or two transport ambulances that might be used how many times in a year?
Maybe none.
Maybe none.
But we would still have those personnel, we would still have those vehicles, we would still have all of those items. How often has that happened in the past?
In a disaster or in
No, just in a regular run of the day, 365 a year.
Yeah, maybe 2 a month. Actually, and it showed that our records with Central Dispatch showed we responded in an ALS first responder mode
Okay.
into the city
Okay.
26 times in 2014.
But still, you responded. Our contract does not prevent us from responding with ALS personnel, with paramedics. The city with paramedics. It just, we're not allowed to transport.
Right. We have a ALS, which is Advanced Life Support Paramedics.
County's the only one in the Commonwealth, aren't we?
Well, it's not anymore, but
Okay.
it was for several years. We're an ALS first responder only license. It's a Class 6 ambulance license.
You responded into the city. You stabilized the person and waited for a yellow ambulance to transport.
Yellow ambulance or other mutual aid transporting ambulances they have.
So, in fact, the call for the county to come into the city with advanced life support personnel occurred because Yellow couldn't get an advanced life support person on an ambulance there as quick as you could.
Right.
There was a need
Due to many factors.
for whatever, they may have been doing whatever. But they did come, and they did make the transport.
They made the transport or they call for mutual aid, which
What was
they
the
are
outcome?
required
What
for
was the outcome? And I say that from this standpoint, what was the outcome of that slower response or service?
I don't know if any that were major. Yeah, there's 20.
Get up there, Sean. I knew you were going to get up
Sean
there.
has got the EMS officers. So
Okay. Well, I understand that there's different, but my statement is, was there a negative outcome because we did not have immediate response with a transport service?
One thing, that was 26 times we responded in the city. There were several in the county we waited for. You know, we don't document that how long we waited in the county.
We're going to, aren't we?
We can.
Isn't that part of this new contract?
We can keep those numbers, no problem at all.
Well, if it's not, we should, because it implies that they do it in the city, but not in the county, and I think the county residents deserve those
But
facts.
the reason why we do it in the easy CAD system, Central Dispatch Center, they can type in how many times we request a response into the overall district.
Yeah.
Now, we responded to the county district, 1,200 times a year. Now, how many times we had to wait for yellow ambulance? A lot of times, no 100% times, either right behind us or 2-3 minutes behind
Yeah,
us.
but you respond in the county as a matter of course.
Sure.
You
sure.
send a response personnel, an LS trained
That's
crew on every call for service.
Correct.
So
and,
that's
and Yellow responds with us.
Yeah.
But there have been times that Yellow was busy with other transfers, and we wait in the county. Same when we responded to the city.
You wait
So,
an
really not-
hour.
Well, it's never an hour.
You gotta wait 30 minutes.
There have been times upwards of 20.
The best I looked at some of those responses, and I'm not just the response time out in the county can be as much as 19 minutes, 20
Depends on
minutes.
what it is.
Yeah. So
The location.
I mean, it's location, so it.
I believe Sean was talking about on 2 occasions, 20 minutes after our arrival.
Okay. I guess I'm looking at this, to go back to the original question or original point I was making. We are now going to separate or divest ourselves according to this, so the city and county will have that license available, so that we would transport if we wanted, or we could start a backup service, which.
Well, we do have, what we've done is they've mentioned to both Yellow and we have contracted with other agencies to provide that backup service, and those backups have the transport capability.
Are those other agencies local agencies
When you
within
say
the,
local, they're-
within the county?
No.
Do they have, so what we're talking about is those agencies gonna have just as, they're gonna have longer or delayed response times as well. So, moving on down the road,
Right.
what we're saying is, well, we think that the city and county should have the capability to transport and develop I'll be very honest, I don't want to stand by ambulance. I don't want county.
This does not, the agreement, as I understood, or what it was, emergency, we can do that if there's a
Yes.
clear emergency.
Yes, absolutely.
This is to cover those incidents, those situations that are not declared emergencies, federal, state, or local. The ones where, because of the nature of, last month there was a large truck that overturned on the Nature Parkway.
Okay.
It's possible if there'd been more than one vehicle involved in that and passengers involved in those vehicles, that there would have been, because Yellow had to be at another accident, say in Curdsville or in Knoxville or anywhere else in Owensboro, that they would have not been able to get their local service there immediately, and we would have had to ask for, and that's what this is to do, to get one of those backups there to transport.
And I don't have a problem with backup club, I'm going past that, though. The
this
issue
is
I
not-
have is the ability of the city and our county to establish their own backup. In other words, you're saying they can't do it, and when any of the people that we have contracted with to provide the backup for them can't do it, then city and county will magically have an ambulance that can get there as quickly
This is-
as anybody else.
This is not a requirement.
No, I understand it's not a requirement, but
Yeah.
what I'm looking at is by opening the Pandora's box, that all of a sudden it does become a requirement. But and I think the commissioners will agree, that public safety is the number one issue for
Absolutely.
the elected body and the city mayor and the city commissioners. And there will be a public outcry that we're not getting taken care of fast enough. And the fact that we have that ability may give a false sense to the citizens that the
I
city
think
government, county government will be providing
Right.
pretty quick transport.
Pretty quick transport. All right, you're talking apples and oranges.
Right.
So let me try to get back to just apples.
Okay.
And the only thing that the contract does is to say that we have a contract with Yellow that says they are to respond with emergencies, and they have specific required response times within designated areas. In emergency, in a declared federal, state, or local emergency, the city, the county, who has a certificate of need and who responds with ALS units may transport some of those persons in those declared emergencies. What this was supposed to try to do, or to clear up, is that the city, the county, can arrange with a backup plan, but when Yellow does not have the capability of responding because there are not enough ambulances, they have other calls as a result of this, or this is such a large incident that that's not an emergency, but takes care of, again, an automobile with 5 passengers and a truck. So we have 2 vehicle accidents, and they're not capable of transporting all of those and dealing with the accident that's either in Knoxville, Kerrsville, or right here at Courthouse. So this says, all right, how do we do that? Yellow has the capability, and they do have a backup plan that we have approved that says we can call in, and they have the places they call from. We mean the city and the county, a contractor who's required to provide that service, also may contract with another person to say, another entity, bring those ambulances in as well. It does not preclude us from establishing a system that says we can have an ambulance that would transport under those circumstances. I don't know that anybody has said we are going to put up an ambulance service that does transport, that we want to put up provide an ambulance that does transport, but we already have this backup plan or contingency plan now in place. And this just, I think, says this is what we've done. Now, does that
Comment?
I got a question.
Just a second, I want the chief.
I believe what Claude's saying is that if we do put this contingency in place, and it is just a surge of runs, not a declared emergency, Daviess County or Owensboro Fire or whoever has to have a license to still be able to transport that patient.
absolutely
Right.
And they can't, to the best of my knowledge, through Kentucky Board of EMS, they cannot withhold the city county license. If you hold on to this, you have to maintain a 24/7 ambulance response.
Your statement is that if we separated and Yellow operated off of their license, we took our license back, city and county's certificate of need would mandate that we maintain a license?
Or you lose the license, the way I understand
we'd have
it,
to have an ambulance that would be able to transport if we separate.
Okay.
have to be capable of responding 24/7.
Okay. So
I
that,
don't know
that,
if it's one or if it's however many is in the certificate. But it has to be ALS status.
okay. I'm sorry now, who was first? Commissioner?
Yes, Chief. We got trained personnel that qualified to transport the victims. Is that correct?
Daviess County Fire has 7 paramedics. We have at least one at each station on each shift. We do not have capabilities as far as the apparatus to transport. We carry everything in our emergency trucks that an ambulance does, with the exception of the cot.
What do you know what the cost of a license is?
Well,
Approximately.
it's a long, drawn-out process because you have to
That's-
get your. The license itself is, I think ours is like $300 for a non-transport, and I think it's around maybe $1,000 for the transport license
Per year?
per year.
I guess the next question, we would have to purchase an ambulance and
Maintain.
maintain and
Man-
also,
and man it.
Right.
and being a backup ambulance, I wouldn't want to see that be abused. In other words, just say the county's got an ambulance and, we'll just let them go. I mean, yes, the intent is for the ambulance service to cover all accidents, but, well, we got a low tire in the county and just send their ambulance, and I believe that in reading a little of this document, we haven't had it very long, the ambulance service charges patients or Medicare, et cetera. And then when we get in, if we're transporting people, we're going to have somebody in administration to do the building and get reimbursed back to the fire department.
Right now, we do it as, we have a mutual aid agreement with Yellow. We do it as a service. Yellow replenishes our stock.
Okay.
That's how we operate.
To just kind of, I think that Yellow would be precluded by the contract, because if they did what scenario that you just mentioned, the Medical Control Authority, that board would call them in, and pretty soon we'd say you're in material breach of the contract. And that's number one. Number two, the impetus to do that is, or not to do it, is the fact that it would interfere with revenue stream. They don't make a run, they don't get paid.
Right.
So the real issue that I've got is if what the chief is saying, and Claude, we need to know that. We need to know that if the city and county had that license in and of themselves, that we are required then to have ambulances available and personnel available.
Are you asking, and the contract doesn't do that, are you asking to divide the license? Because right now, Yellow provides the emergency service under our agreement.
Under our license.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
No, and that's not what this is
That's
supposed
what
to
I'm
do.
understanding, is that they
No,
would separate the license.
This is not what that's supposed to do. Absolutely
if
not.
you don't divide the license, though, it's my understanding, and we can't.
Yes, we do that now. We provide a backup plan now.
We provide a backup plan, but not with our own personnel. That's the point I'm making. We're not
And
fighting
I
backup
think
plan.
the significance there is that we are not establishing, the way I read the language, the way I understood from where we were before, and I don't know, again, I think Chief Smithers talked to EMS in Frankfurt. I sent them an email explaining what I thought the problem was. I called them, left a message, and asked them to respond to it. I haven't gotten any, at least as far as I know, I haven't responded.
Go back to my original state. We need to know.
But we're not establishing that. We're not doing that. All we're doing is saying that in the event of in this situation, what this contractor do will allow us to have a backup plan with another contractor, which we already do.
We already do.
Or we can establish an ambulance transport service as a backup. Now, those are separate and distinct requirements or provisions. Not an and, but an or. And we haven't done that, and I don't know that anybody's asked us, either the county or the city, to establish that transport service. Now, if we establish a transport service, if the county and the city decide that instead of contracting with another official or another ambulance service, that they want to provide that ambulance transport service, then I think we have to separate licenses, and we have to buy, maintain, and staff an ambulance.
Okay.
An ambulance capable of providing transport.
If we separate.
If we separate.
That's what you're
If
saying.
we establish an ambulance transport service.
But if we don't separate,
then we'd have to
Then
have
we
some kind of
cannot,
contingency to say, in the event, if we have an instance or we have one of those, just like we're doing now, we need to have some way for the public to know that there is a way that we can get those victims as a result of the car accident on
the
an
backup
accident.
that Yellow provides, or Yellow has, I assume they're working off their own certificate of need, their own license.
Or
Yes, that's mutual aid with,
okay.
I believe it's
Right.
Lye County, McLean County, all these.
I think they have one with, I'm not even sure, do you have one with Henderson? Yeah, and they have, I think all of the surrounding, the